Hello everyone and welcome back to Jacklet Educational Channel. In this video we will know some basics of the soil quality assessment and we'll know the techniques for the analysis of chemical parameters of soil. So this will be very helpful for the laboratory experiments as well as the concepts behind this analysis will help you all to score good marks in the competitive exams. So without wasting much time, let's get started. So whatever I will be telling that note it down, you should note it down because these are the frequently asked questions which I will be telling you to note it down. So mainly the soil is composed of 4 different particles, that is clay, silt, sand and gravel. So their constituent make different types of soil and different quality and they are having certain limits. So what is happening, the limit is having the diameter of the particle size. So the clay are having the diameter of less than 0.002 mm, that's the diameter of clay. The silt are having the particle size greater than 0.002 mm and lesser than 0.05 mm. Similarly, the sand particle as it is shown in this picture, so you can see this diameter is in between 0.05 and 2 mm. And when we are coming to gravel, the particle size are greater than 2 mm in size, that is the diameter of the gravel particle size. So you should note it down what is the size of these particle size and accordingly you should note what is the increasing order of the particle size, that is clay, silt, sand and gravel. So let's move to the next slide. In the next slide we will discuss about what are the factors which are affecting and influencing the category and quality of the different soil. So these are 3 important factors. Those are physical factors, chemical factors and biological factors. So physical factors include the soil depth, the water holding capacity of the soil, the physical environment where they are present, that is the structure of the environment, how much air they are getting, drainage system, texture and density. Similarly, soil erosion also plays very important role in determining the physical factor of the soil. That is, when water and wind are taking away the soil portion, then the quality changes for that reason. Next is chemical factor. So the nutrient available in the soil, their capacity and intensity factor also helps to determine the quality of the soil. The soil reaction, that is acidic nature or saline nature of the soil. You all will learn about all this technique, don't worry. Next is what quantity of toxic elements are present. So you should analyze all these things mostly before doing agricultural activity. Next thing coming up is the biological factors. So what kind of microorganisms are present, because they are very important organism playing role in formation of soil as well as giving the texture and quality to the soil. Next is earthworms activities. Earthworms are the earth maker, that means they make the soil, they prepare the soil texture and quality. Similarly, soil enzyme activities. So what kind of enzymes are generated by the microorganisms, they also play the major factor in the soil quality. Similarly, organic matter of the content of the soil is also very helpful, that is humus content, whether it is more, whether it is less. So all these are biological factor played by microorganisms, earthworms and different small organisms present inside the soil. So these 3 factors contribute to the quality of the soil. Now we will see in the next slide that what are the basic components of soil. So approximately the soil is having 45% of the mineral constituent, 25% constitute water portion and 25% constitute air in it. So the rest 5% constitute organic matter, humus, roots of the plants and 10% of organisms living inside that. So out of the 5%, the 80%, that is most of the part, is constituting the humus part in the soil. Let's move to the next slide. So here we will know about the nutrients available in the soil. Yes, it is very important because from the nutrients in the soil, the plants will be taking up through the roots and they will be preparing the food so as they should transfer it from one trophic level to higher trophic level. So we should know that soil nutrients are divided into 2 categories, that is macronutrients and micronutrients. So macronutrients are the nutrients which plant needs more in quantity. Macro means more, that's why they need more. And micronutrients, they are the nutrients or elements which plant needs in lesser quantity. So it is very important to have the balance between the two, that is between macro and micronutrients, because if there is too few macronutrients present in the soil, it can lead to poor plant growth and potential for disease. That means if the few macronutrients are present, they can lead to disease in plants, and if too many micronutrients are present, they can lead to loss of color in the plant leaves and plant body, as well as reduction in the growth. Similarly, if too few micronutrients are present, then it will result in reduced flowering and yellow-green coloration. So macronutrients are majorly nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, magnesium and calcium ions, whereas micronutrients are boron, zinc, molybdenum, manganese, iron, copper and chlorine. So if you want to know the technique to remember the micro and macronutrients, you can check the link given in the description below. So now we will know some of the basics for the soil analysis. Yes, how to prepare the soil sample. So we have taken the soil from the site which we are going to analyze. After that, we should dry that soil. So why should dry? Because we want to remove the moisture content present in that soil sample. Then what we will do is the soil samples were ground. That means we have to grind those soil samples using wooden mortar and pestle. So you can use any mortar and pestle and you should grind all those soil sample and then pass those sample through 0.5 mm polyethylene sieve. So this is the example of a sieve. You should pass those soil sample through a sieve. You can take any, but if you are taking 0.5 mm, it is well and fine. Then what you have to do is we have to dredge the sample. So these are the dredged sample, that means processed soil sample. Then we can use this soil sample for the mechanical as well as chemical analysis. So these are certain steps you should do before going for soil analysis part. Next, what we will do, we should make the solution of the soil which we have separated. Why? Because for the most of the analytical method, the liquid form is preferred for the analysis. So what liquid we should add? For example, if we are going to analyze the anions and pH of the soil sample, then we have to require 2:1 water extraction. So what is this 2:1? That means if we are taking 2 parts of the soil, that is 2 gram, then we should take 1 gram of water. And then what we have to do for the metals, if we are going to analyze the metals present in the soil, then we should use the liquid that is acidic medium. If we are going to analyze the cyanide content in the soil, then we should need alkaline solution. And similarly, to analyze the phenols present in the soil, we should use methanol and water mix. So we should know that for all this analysis, we need a liquid form of the soil component. Next is, after these are mixed with the soil with the following water sample or acidic sample or alkaline sample, they must be shaken. So first what we will do, for example here in the beaker we have added the water along with the soil, then we have to shake them with the help of stirrer or reflux method you can use, or you can use the digestion method for certain period of time. Then we will filter that, or you can use the centrifuge machine. So after that we will keep the solution as it is. So after that you should look at here, if the time passes, then the soil that will be settled down and we will get the sample water solution for the soil analysis. Then this liquid will be used for the analysis of different analytical techniques. So I hope you are clear till now. Let's move to the next slide. So first analysis which we are going to do today for the soil will be the determination of pH value. So pH is what? Negative logarithm of H plus ion concentration. So to know that whether that soil is acidic soil or alkaline soil, because it will be very important for the agriculture purpose, so we will need 20 gram of the soil, this is the standard procedure, into a 100 ml beaker. So we will take the 100 ml beaker and add 20 gram of soil. Then we will add 20 ml of deionized water, that is distilled water we will add 20 ml, and we will place that solution, that is beaker solution, with the soil on a stirrer to mix for 30 minutes. Then we will cover the solution and let it stand still for about an hour. So we will keep it for settling down. Then we will use a 2-point calibration. What is this calibration? Calibration means to check the working of instrument. So what instrument we are going to use? We are using the pH meter. So you can see this is the probe part which is going to analyze the pH, and this is the digital meter which will show the pH of the soil solution or any liquid solution. So to check whether that instrument is working or not, we need to do calibration. So you should note it down. The meaning of calibration is to check the working of any instrument. So how we'll check? We will check with the help of buffer solution. So what are these buffer solution? These are the solution used for calibration in pH analysis, because this solution, they resist the changes in pH, because if you are adding certain acid or alkali to those buffer solution, then also for longer period of time they will be stable and holding a particular pH. So if you know the pH of certain buffer solution, that is pH 7 and pH 10, we will check whether that instrument is showing that pH level or not. And if it is showing that pH level, then the instrument is working properly, then the instrument is calibrated. What we will do, we should rinse the electrode. So how to check the buffer solution pH? We will take the buffer solution in the beaker, then we will put the probe inside that solution and we'll check the analysis. After that, what we will do, we will take out the probe from that beaker and we will rinse the electrode, that is this probe one, with the distilled water, and we will clean with the blotting paper. So we'll wash that and then we will dry that probe, that is electrode rod. After that, we will place the probes in the soil sample. So we would have done this beaker along with the soil and water sample. So from this we will take, that is the sample which we have taken, then we will take the probe and we'll put inside this beaker as we have done in the buffer solution, and then the digital meter will show the pH of the soil sample which we are going to analyze. So it is very simple. You have to take 20 gram of soil in 100 ml beaker, we will add the 20 ml of water, then we will check with the buffer solution whether it is showing the correct pH, that is pH 7 and 10 we will be knowing earlier. Then we will wash it with distilled water and dry it with blotting paper and again place it within our beaker. Let's move to the next analysis part. So next analysis part is the EC of soil. So what is this EC? EC is the electrical conductivity of soil. So what are these? We should know that the unit of electrical conductivity is Siemens per centimeter or micro Siemens per centimeter, you can check. And next is soluble salts present in soil. So in soil, soluble salts will be present, magnesium salt, calcium salt, different kinds of salts. And when they are present in the soil solution, because as we have discussed, you should make a solution of the soil, they will be dissociated into cations and anions. So these cations and anions carry the current and they will impart the conductivity of that soil. So what we will do, the basic is higher the concentration of the ion, that means higher the soluble salt present, higher the electrical conductivity or electrical conductance of that soil. So what we have to do, if we are able to analyze the electrical conductivity, then we will be able to say how much amount of ions are present. So we can guess that. What is the method for calculating the EC? So EC is also used by using the electrical conductivity probe, that is also digital like pH meter. So what we will do, we have to prepare 1:5 soil and water suspension. So 1:5 soil and water means 1 part of soil with 5 parts of water. We will add 10 gram of the air dried soil into that bottle and we will add 50 ml of distilled water, that is deionized water. We will mechanically shake it at 50 rotation per minute to mechanically stir that solution, carrying the soil along with the 1:5 soil water solution. Next, what we have to do, for 1 hour we have to stir that or shake that, because to dissolve the soluble salt. If all the salts are dissolved properly, then we will get the accurate electrical conductivity of the soil. Then what we will do, we will similarly calibrate, that means we will check whether this electrical conductivity meter is working properly or not. So how we will check? We will check with the help of KCl. So KCl is the buffer solution here, we can say. So KCl is actually having the conductivity of 0.01 molar of KCl is having the conductivity of 1413 microsiemens per centimeter. So you should note it down. The conductivity of 0.01 molar KCl is 1413 microsiemens per centimeter. So we will check here that whether this meter is showing that much of electrical conductivity or not. Then what we will do, we will rinse that probe, that is this one, we will clean that with the distilled water. Then we will insert the electrical probe inside the sample beaker, that is having the soil along with the water, and we will record the electrical conductivity value. So it is very simple. The digital meter will show the electrical conductance. And let's see the next slide. Next parameter which we are going to discuss is sodium. So we should know how much quantity of sodium is present in the soil. So for that, first of all, I would say that mostly for sodium determination we use flame photometry analysis. It can be for water or soil, but here we are going to know about the Barber and Kolthoff methods. This method is different and I will tell you what is the procedure for this method. You should take 10 ml of soil suspension. So what is this suspension? And previously, mostly what we used to do, after settling down the soil, we used to take the alicate, that is the upper part of the beaker. Next we have to take, here is the suspension. So why suspension? Suspension means Actually it is the unsettled mixture. So if you are adding the water and soil, we'll get this one in the first stage. So this is called a suspension. So from that we'll take the 10 ml, to which 10 ml of reagent mixture we'll add, that is uranyl acetate and zinc acetate. That's the reagent used, which will take 10 ml, and then we will stir that solution thoroughly. What we'll do after 30 minutes of stirring, we will allow it to stand still and filter through gauge crucible. So what is this gauge crucible? This is the photo of gauge crucible. The crucible, which is made up of china clay, will be having pores in the below portion. So we'll see. So we will filter through this gauge crucible and wash successively with reagent mixture, that is alcohol and ether. So what we will do, you can see we have to attach this with the filter apparatus, that is crucible will attach, and here it will be filter paper. So when we are passing the solution of this soil suspension along with the reagent, this crucible will take all the water here, it all will settle down, and filter paper, on this filter paper the particles will settle down. That means the particle, soil particle along with the sodium. What we will do next is, it is then dried. So this filter paper is dried in the oven and weight of the precipitate is recorded. So we'll weigh the filter paper, that is the pre-weight. Then after this experiment has been done and dried in the oven, we will weight the filter paper again. So that will, after we subtract it from the previous weight, that is the pre-weight, we will get the amount of precipitate which is falling or which has fallen on that filter paper. What we will get from the formula is weight of the sodium present in that soil, that is milli equivalent per liter of this soil suspension, is weight of precipitate that we will get after subtracting with the final filter paper weight minus initial filter paper weight multiplied by the standard value, which is 0.01495. So in this way we will be able to know how much amount of sodium is present in the milli equivalent per liter. Next analysis we will do about the determination of calcium. So we'll know how much of calcium is present in that soil. For that we'll take 10 ml of soil extract, that is here we are taking the upper portion of that beaker, you would have seen in the previous slide. So upper portion of that beaker after settling. So we'll take the 10 ml of that soil extract and we will take 2 to 3 crystals of carbamate, and we will add in that soil extract 10 ml and 5 ml of 16% sodium hydroxide, that is NaOH, will be added to that, and this mixture will be of about 40 milligram of murex will be added. What is murex? Murex means ammonium perchlorate is called as murex, which is the indicator will be added. Then the mixture will be titrated with 0.01 normality of EDTA. So this method is known as Versenate EDTA method of estimation. EDTA means, you should notice down, it is ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid, which is used in the titration method. And the titration, the color will change from orange red to reddish violet color, that is purple color. So you should note it down. What is the change in color for the murex, that is indicator added. So how to calculate how much of calcium is present? So this is a very simple formula, you should note it down. That calcium will be carried out in gram per liter, we will know the value. So formula is normality of EDTA, that is here we are taking 0.01. Next is volume of EDTA. So what is this volume of EDTA? So in the burette, how much quantity of the EDTA is used for the titration, that much volume will be the volume of EDTA consumed multiplied by the equivalent weight of calcium. So what is this equivalent weight? I have already discussed in the water sampling and the air sampling. Equivalent weight means atomic mass of that element divided by the valency. So calcium atomic mass is 40. So divided by the valency, that is 2, will give 20 as the equivalent weight of calcium. Similarly, what we'll do, we'll divide all of this with the ml of aliquot taken. So here we have taken 10 ml of aliquot, so we'll divide it by 10. So this is very simple as you have seen in this slide. So note it down everything. Let's move to the next slide. So in the last slide we have determined the calcium content. Here we will determine the magnesium. But why I have written magnesium and calcium both, we will learn after reading this slide. So what happened is, to know the magnesium content, we have to do 25 ml of the soil extract we will take, and we will take it with the use of pipette, and we will add 2 to 5 crystals of carbamate and 5 ml of ammonium chloride, ammonium hydroxide buffer. Those will be added, that is ammonium chloride and ammonium hydroxide buffer, and 3 to 4 drops of erythrome black tea. So erythrome black tea is the indicator, and when this will be titrated against 0.01 normality of EDTA solution, the tinge wine red color will totally disappear and blue bright color will appear. So that will be the end point for the determination. And what happens is, after that we will be able to calculate calcium and magnesium all together present in gram per liter. So in previous slide we have discussed that how to calculate the calcium, and here we will be calculating how to calculate calcium plus magnesium. So what we will do, so we will subtract this value with the previous one, that is calcium, and then we will get the magnesium. So the formula is the same, the normality of EDTA where it is 0.01 normality, volume of EDTA consumed in the titration method, then equivalent weight of calcium plus magnesium both. So we have to take the equivalent of weight of both, that is atomic mass of calcium plus magnesium, that is 40 plus 24 is equal to 64. Calcium is 40 and magnesium is 24, divided by the valency, that is here we will take valency 2, not we will take 2 plus 2. So we will consider one valency, that is 2, and after solving this we will get 32 as the equivalent weight of calcium and magnesium, which we will take here. Next we will divide it by the per ml of alicot taken. So here we have taken 25 ml, so we will write 25 ml in the denominator. So in this way we will be able to find calcium plus magnesium, and we will subtract the calcium value from this value, and then we will get the magnesium present in the soil. Next is determination of sodium adsorption ratio. So this is also important for the entrance test because it is called as SAR ratio. So it is calculated to indicate the sodicity or alkalinity hazard. So what is this sodicity? Soil sodicity, it is the accumulation of sodium salt relative to the other types of salt cations present in the soil or water. So this is the called as sodicity, amount of sodium salt present. The formula is the concentration of sodium present divided by the concentration of calcium plus magnesium divided by 2 to the power 1 by 2. That means if you are not considering 1 by 2 to the power, we can take root over of this. So this is the formula of SAR, you should note it down, where the concentration of cations is in milli equivalent per liter. That means the concentration for sodium, calcium and magnesium we will take in milli equivalent per liter to get this formula. So we should know what is the safe limit for the SAR. So how much of sodium should be present. So the safe limit is if the value, this value is coming less than 10, it is safe. Moderately safe is between 10 to 18, and moderately unsafe is in between 19 to 26, and the unsafe value of SAR, that is sodium adsorption ratio, is if it is greater than 26 value. So these were some of the things which we discussed today for the soil analysis. I hope you have learned something. So if you like this video, don't forget to give a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe the channel to get more interesting video like this. So see you guys in our next video.